Welcome to the biggest project I've ever tried. I have it all typed up, so all I have to do is film. This is the 1001 films that I think you should watch before you die. So these are the films that you watch. This is my personal thoughts on this, my personal recommendations. So here we go. I'm not going to fly. I'm going to try to go kind of quick on these, but I'm not going to fly through. Might talk a little bit about them as I go. I'm going backwards from 1001 up. So 1001, which I'm not going to count after that one. Zulu, which is interesting. Just take it at that. Next is Fulci's movie Zombie. Quite a bit different than anything you'll see with Romero. Zodiac. Everybody in that film is amazing. Young, and I'm going to say this wrong, Torchless. Have it on Criterion. Barbara Steele. I don't have to say more than that for me. Next, Young Mr. Lincoln, which I watched last year. Really enjoyed this film. It was just shot so perfectly, and to me, it's a must-have. Not just a watch, a must-have. The next two are Young Guns and Young Guns 2. If you're a Western fan, these are more of a modern update Western. If you don't know what they are, if you do what they are, you know that they're really, really good. Estevez is perfect in it. My favorite comedy of all time, next, Young Frankenstein. This film is so funny. This is my type of humor. That dry, just witty shit, that maybe like just a zing here and there. And I love that movie. Next, you've got Mail, very solid love story, very Tom Hanks just blows it away, man. Yojimbo, I don't even have to talk about it. Japanese film. It is a Criterion. You don't have to have the Criterion, but I recommend it. And just a wonderful samurai movie. Wrong Turn. Once again, for the horror people, this is a solid horror movie, a modern type horror movie about kind of in vein of Hills Have Eyes. Next, we have The Wrestler. Really good character film. Sad, just there's ups and downs, and just it's got everything. Next, my favorite Christmas movie of all time, It's a Wonderful Life. Jimmy Stewart is hands down one of, if not the best actor to ever live, in my personal opinion. Next is Wonder Woman. I'm a superhero fan. There's a lot of superhero films on this, and this one, DC didn't really nail it like Marvel has in the last 10 years, but Wonder Woman is a really solid film that deserves a watch. The Woman is next. This is an odd one. This is another horror movie. It is you just have to watch it yourself. It's a modern horror movie. It's really unnerving. It's anxiety-ridden, kind of. Just something that modern horror is really, really hard for me to get into, and this is one that just kind of stood out to me. Cassavetes is a Woman Under the Influence. I watched this about 2 years ago. I got the Cassavetes box set from Criterion, and literally fell in love with this film. It will be a rewatch probably this year, and it is really, really good. Next is a film called Wolves. It stars Jason Momoa, who I'm a huge fan of. This one kind of has a different take on the werewolf thing, and it's just a really interesting werewolf film. Next, of course, is, not of course, you don't know it is, Wolfman. I mean, I am absolutely in love with the Universal horror, and this is one of the most frightening as far as they go. Wolf of Wall Street, I like this film a lot, and I think it deserves a watch. Do I think it has a lot of rewatchability? No, but I do think it's one that is a very good film, and it does need to be watched. Next, Jack Nicholson, and Wolf. You imagine if Jack Nicholson was in it? No, I mean, that'd be really weird. Him and Michelle Pfeiffer. It's another werewolf film. It's another very different take on the wolf, and just interesting. Next, Wolfen, which that's not in alphabetic order, but another werewolf movie that is 80s. Just a wonderful. Why do I keep saying wonderful? It's just another werewolf movie that really needs to be watched if you're a fan of that genre. Witness. I'm not really going to talk about it. It's just a really good Harrison Ford film. That's all you need to know. Harrison Ford. Watch it. Next is Witches, which is has a lot to do with Jim Henson. It's about a bunch of witches and a witch convention, which I thought was really cool. Wishmaster. This is about a genie or a djinn. The djinn, I think the D is silent, who is really, really fucking evil. There's a whole series of them. I think there's 4 maybe in the series, but the first one is absolutely fantastic. Witchfinder General, don't have to talk about it. Witch, this came out a couple years ago. Ian's a big fan. He just got done doing, talking about this. It's very atmospheric. There's not a whole lot that goes on. It is a very slow burn, but it is an absolute joy to watch. Wicker Man, once again, don't need to talk about it. Who's That Knocking at My Door? This is Scorsese and Harvey Keitel and a bunch of others, and it's just early Scorsese, so it's it's still in his style, but it's kind of a little. Just watch it. I recommend it. It's really good. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Don't need to talk about that. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? A personal favorite of mine that I think people should watch, because some of these are going to be just personal favorites as well as things I think you need to watch that need to be watched. Not you in general. Just overall blanket. And Who Framed Roger Rabbit is an excellent display of human and cartoon at the same time. Whiteout, very suspenseful snow movie. White Men Can't Jump. I seen this in the theater a long, long time ago, and I still laugh every time I see it. It's Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes, and they go around basketball courts, making money by pretending they're not that good at one time, and then they really are. White Dog is a very controversial movie about a dog that's trained to attack and kill and maim people of a different color, and the Christy McNichols plays the lead in this, who I really adore. I think she could have been way bigger than she was. She was pretty big, but she owns the dog, found the dog really. The dog found her, I think. Yeah, dog found her. And she goes and thinks that, it's possible to have this erased and changed in the dog, and you'll have to watch it to see, but it is, I have it on Criterion. It's one of the, probably the first 20 that I bought, just because I was interested, Christy McNichols, in a film that was a hard film probably to be in. So Highly recommend that. White Christmas, White Buffalo, not Charlton Heston. Charles Bronson, how about that? A westernish type movie. Really, I bought it on a whim one time just because it looked cool and ended up being really, really good. Whipping the Body, Vincent Price. Where the Wild Things Are. This is Spike Jonze, and I thought this was so imaginative, based off the animated and the book Where the Wild Things Are, that this movie just nailed it. It's just really, really good. What's Eating Gilbert Grape with Johnny Depp. This movie right here is a perfect example of how good Leonardo DiCaprio became later on. When I seen this movie, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know whatever. And he plays a mentally challenged character, and I really thought that they had cast this person, and he was doing so good. And then to find out it's not at all. I mean, it's probably the best part of the movie is just his character and how well he interacts with Johnny Depp. And What Dreams May Come, Robin Williams, very, very odd, but very, very good. Next is a personal favorite is What About Bob? Most of you guys will know what that is anyway. Weird Science, 80s, the 80s. It's just, people probably do know what this is. Next up is my personal favorite animated film, Watership Down. Very tense, very beautifully drawn, very violent. Just a really well-told story. They did a series on Netflix, I believe. Might have been Hulu, but I think it was Netflix. I couldn't get into it. It was just, I don't know what it was, but the animation in Watership Down makes it fantastic. Next, Watchmen, another comic book film. Really, really, really good. I'm not the biggest fan of the graphic novel, but I think that they really translated it and made it a little bit more interesting live action than it was in the read. It was just the book itself was just a little stale for me. Next is The Warrior. Very sentimental type, a really sad story, but great payoff. About two brothers, and just a fantastic watch. War of the Planet of the Apes. Now these are you'll probably see all of these, but since it's alphabetical, War of the Planet of the Apes is on here. Of the new trilogy, this is not my favorite. Dawn is my favorite, but this is a really, really good film. I mean, it's spectacular. I remember I watched it twice in one day when it came out on Blu-ray. I'm just so amazed at the CG in this and just the overall feel of the story. It's just so good. And last for today, which will be the 50th, I'm doing 50 at a time, is Vertigo. And we have it's Hitchcock, and it's Jimmy Stewart, and it's fucking amazing. So there you go. That's the first 50 of my 1001. I hope to keep these on track. I'm only gonna do one a week. So I guess every Wednesday we'll have one of these videos. So till next time, guys, you be good, and may the force be with you.